Hey, everybody. Brennan, we're late. We're coming. We're here. It's a busy week for everybody. Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to Spill the Immunity. We're all here today. Alex, Brandon, great to have you guys back. Welcome back to the U.S., Alex. Good to have you. How's it going?
Thanks. It's going well. Little jet lag, but got to watch Survivor, so all good.
You made it off the island.
Made it off the island, yeah. I got voted out finally. 11 months.
11 months. Wow.
That's a long
That's
time.
amazing.
It's a long time.
How you doing, Brandon?
I'm good. You might hear the sounds of some bathroom remodeling above my head. I'm in my garage. They're going to town, and I'm glad they're leaving today. So, yeah.
They're leaving, or you hope that it's all done when they leave.
Anymore, though, I'm either way.
Either way. Get out of my house.
We need the house back. So
we do need the house back. More ways than one. Hey, everybody. So it's been an episode this week. I didn't bring a can of anything. I have a coffee cup. You guys are taking sips. What did we think overall about this week's episode?
Alex, please. I'm going to start off very optimistic. So if you want to down that a little bit before I start.
Interesting episode. So, the big thing was they went from 2 tribes to 3 tribes. 3 tribes of 4, yep. Which again, there's this preamble from Jeff. It's like, okay. Interesting challenge. Okay. Challenge. What I guess I liked about this was that there was a reward challenge and an immunity challenge, like in the same episode. It wasn't this kind of long, drawn out, conversation about all this irrelevant stuff. So that was good. I was watching on the plane ride home. I was watching Survivor, I think 626. It was when they did fans versus favorites. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that was 16 or 26, but I was kind of, comparing an old episode to this episode, and actually noticed you think that the older episodes would be kind of slower paced, but this was much faster paced. So the older episodes are a lot faster paced. Seems like the new era of Survivor, they like draw everything out. It's actually more boring. So I actually was kind of watching it and thinking about, okay, how does this differ? And this was actually kind of more in the old school kind of editing style, because they went straight to challenge. Okay, they do the challenge, they go back, there's a little bit of talking, and then they do another challenge. And then, tribal was actually pretty short too. So I don't know if they're adjusting the editing or, if this is kind of how the merged tribe will go. I actually enjoyed this episode more than the previous episodes because it was just a little bit faster paced. I don't know. What do you think, Brandon? That's optimistic take from me, which is like, I might be surprised.
I was not ready for your optimism. Yeah. Maybe that Shannon has gotten to you and you're just now ultra optimistic.
I actually like Shannon now too. So I've had like a brainwashing. I don't know. I'm a different man.
She did those little island yoga tricks on your mind, and now you're more optimistic. I like the old Alex better. So we'll deal with that. Maybe it's the jet lag. I'll blame the jet lag on that. Is that okay?
Something.
I thought it was great. I like Shannon and I like Sage both, and that's completely okay in the show Survivor because you need those different distinct personalities, and that's exactly why this episode was great. We saw 2 different people doing 2 different things, and you don't get that in some episodes of New School Survivor because everybody's trying to just blend in with everybody. Sage is not trying to blend in. Shannon's not trying to blend in. Shannon's just being herself out there. So I appreciated that. I think Sage may have made this season jump about maybe 8 to 10 seasons better just on this one episode because we saw kind of the breakdown of this tribe versus tribe thing. I'm very curious to see what happens with Jawan since he was so strong with his tribe at first, and now he voted against his tribe, and Sage drug him with him. So I like both of them, and I was so glad that they carried that out and didn't vote out Steven. Not because I like Steven any more than anybody else, but because it was different, and that's exactly what this season needed. Bree?
Well, I just wanted to say that I really like Shannon's getting to everybody, but I don't know why people aren't listening to me at all. Sage drives me nuts with her voice. It's so monotone now. She had this one part of the show that of this week where it was just like this, and they were just like, they don't listen, but they're fine. I'm like, what are you doing? She drove me insane this week. I there was a few people that drove me nuts. First, Jeff drove me nuts with the whole back to three. All I get is 3 in my world these days. And I just don't,
It's a magic number, Brie. It's a magic number.
Apparently so. It drove me insane. I don't like the fours, the three groups of 4. I thought, if you're going to shake it up, but don't maybe do it that way. That being said, I was not pleased with Juwan. I think he ended up making the right decision, but they said, Juwan, you're going to catch the vote. Shannon is pushing to have you go out. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to vote against her. Like, what's wrong with you? If you don't vote against her, then you're gone. Then we'll vote you out. Like, it made no sense to me whatsoever, that he was even, questioning it. And it was coming from all angles. It wasn't coming just from Sage. It was coming from everyone. And so I guess I just didn't understand. And I think we do have to see these tribal lines have to be crossed. And if Shannon's going to be gunning for you this early, then there's no reason she shouldn't be on her butt like she was. Like, there's nothing to explain to the tribe. Hey, she was going to vote me out. What did you want? What did you expect me to do? Like, that just makes sense to me. Anyway, I didn't think this was the best episode ever. The only thing that we saw in this episode that surprised me or made me like the episode a little bit more is we got to see the human side of Jeff this episode, where he was struggling with the heat like everybody else, well fed, well rested, fully hydrated, and still it was causing him some distress.
Welcome to Survivor, Jeff.
Exactly. That was an epic snapback. That was
RIZGOD. That's what he's all about, man. That's all he's all about. Still about 60% on him. I'm getting lukewarm on the Riz God. Getting lukewarm.
Yeah.
But yes, that was cool that they showed that he was kind of, lack on the breath after jogging across the sand. Poor guy. We wish him well. Can we go back to some of the stuff you said? Is that okay?
Go wherever you want, Brandon.
I'm in my garage. I am. So Juwan first. I don't think Juwan is a great player, Bart. Like, I don't expect a lot from Juwan. I think how he's narrating from he's talked about Act 1 at the very beginning of the season. Now he's on Act 2. I hope this isn't an edit of them saying he's going to say Act 3, which means he's at the very end, which means he's going to be another 0 vote finalist. And that's what I see in him right now, because he's the one that is kind of, point me where I need to go. As long as it's not me. He's the one that thought that he was going to find a 4th person in this 3-person alliance when nobody really had him that cemented into a group. So I think he's a 3rd place 0 vote finalist, and I'm sad about that because I don't like people taking goats, even though it's the smart thing to do. Like, sometimes we tell people, oh, this isn't a great season because they're taking this. Well, good gameplay is taking a 0 vote finalist to you at the end. So yeah, I don't agree that Juwan made the best decision, but I don't think he's made a great decision, nor do I think he's ever known where he is in this game, except for the time when he went to tribal council first and everybody was speaking in like 3 syllables and he was like, I'm not a good speaker, I'm going to lose this game. And so, like, the vulnerability helps him. So I just don't think Juwan is in this game at all.
I don't think he's in the game, but I would have a beer with him because he's a super great guy.
Yeah.
Like I'd hang out with him.
I don't mind Juwan. I don't mind
Yeah.
Juwan at all.
Alex?
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, no, not. I mean, I agree with Braden. I do think that Jawan went to vote out Shannon is going to bite him in the butt because they're kind of looking for a reason to vote Jawan out. Savannah. They've been kind of hinting at this, that there's this riff in Uli. And you see it now. And Sage was obviously on the outside of that alliance too. So now they're going to come back and they'll probably try to make some concession, right? Hey, we'll vote off Jawan. We'll vote off another Uli. And then it will kind of be 4-4, right? Or maybe they'll go after Sage. I feel like they're not going to go after Sage as much because there hasn't been as much kind of foreshadowing that Savannah wants to vote out Sage or anything like that. So I think Brandon's right. You'll see that probably next episode where you have this, Uli basically goes against Uli, right? And then it's fair, this perception. So then they can play this, fluid game or whatever. You know what I keep thinking about is I saw this preview of Jeff. This season has a crazy amount of spoilers. So Jeff was saying that at some point they reference, you'll see, people from this season, 49, could be on 50 if you play hard enough. Because Jeff's trying to interject some chaos into the game to say hey, you guys need to start playing. Like, this is boring. Mm-hmm. And we know that the two people who do that are Rizzo and Savannah, who up until this point haven't really done much.
They haven't had to.
They haven't had to, right? They've barely been to tribal. They have this super strong alliance, between the 4 people who are currently on Hina. You bring in Sophie into that mix too. So it's I'm thinking a 4, I thought that Savannah is going to win. She just kind of seems like she's being set up as the winner. And I'm wondering, this is kind of the start of their big moves, so to say. Mm-hmm. Right now, I have some maybe other things that I think might end up happening with them, that makes them these epic players. Is how is this going to turn, into a crazy game, or how's this going to open up, and how's this going to be different? So that's kind of what I've been thinking about. But what do you think, Brie?
Well, I do think we're going to see. I mean, we get merged now. It looks like they have to earn the merge because we're going from 12 players. Now we're at 11. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people go home from this merge before they make jury. Cause there's that merge, but then do they make jury kind of a thing that's happening. And so I think we're going to see when they come together, we're going to see a lot of, I think it's at merge. I think it's something that when Jeff, because he's been talking about that in the news, of 2 players get to go on and play, right? And so who's that going to be from how your games are so far? I think we're going to see some craziness, but I don't think we're going to see that much crazy right away, because we have the fallout of Shannon getting voted out. Jawan kind of made the call on that. Sage will probably be protected because nobody really takes her serious. It wasn't until Steven and Jawan did anybody actually really even listen to her. To be honest with you, nobody was really listening to her. She was like, Shannon's going to do this, this, and this. I don't know, either she wasn't telling anybody or she just isn't listened to. So I don't think she's in any danger this week, but we will see a lot of stuff start to happen. But I think this first episode with the merge will not be full of craziness. I think they will probably go into it with, we need to do the safe vote. I think it's going to be, they won't come for Jawan. They still need their numbers, as many as they can get. And I think they're going to go with a more safe option, that more people can get behind altogether at first. So I'm not expecting any fireworks this next week, to be honest.
So with that said, if you don't expect any fireworks, who do you think is who's the next person going home?
Next person going home. I'm actually worried about Christina.
Okay. I'm at the place where I don't know who it could be right now. I know it's not Riz God and Savannah because they haven't done enough this season to be on season 50, so they're safe. But with anybody else, like I really don't know if I could tell you who's not. I could make a case. I agree that Sage isn't going somewhere right now, but I could make a case for why she would. I could make a case for Jawan, but you think Christina? Where are you at with that? How'd you come up with Christina?
Well, we're seeing some things going on with her that are it's taking a huge toll on her, right? So she had that moment at the reward challenge where, I mean, the heat is, like Jeff is saying, the heat is bad. It's getting to him, and he's doing great. He gets all the food he wants, hydration, and lots of sleep. And I just feel like that was kind of maybe a foreshadow of, because it didn't have a big impact on the game. You know what I mean?
So you think they showed it because it was?
I think it's maybe a foreshadow of what's to come. So I feel like, I don't know if it's going to, I'm not worried about her being voted off perhaps as much, unless she's like, this is too hard for me, guys. Like,
I would hate that to happen on a merge vote.
I do. I hate to have that too, but I feel like we're gonna see her struggle again this next episode, and that could come into play on how she goes forward. I don't want to see a medical evac either. You know, I don't want to see something happen to her. I really like Christina. I'd love to see her kind of come into her own a little bit more, but I think she's fighting a lot of internally, whether it's physical and maybe a little mental, with missing her family and missing her kids or missing her life. And what, you know, there's something she's struggling emotionally right now with being away, and also really overwhelmed by this heat and all of this conditions that they're surviving through.
I don't think I'm too worried about Christina. I think she has the inner will to keep on going. So I don't see her quitting. Well, who I am scared for.
I don't see her quitting. I don't see her quitting at all.
But some kind of like.
I see her struggling. And
okay. Yeah, I could see that. But I like MC, and I'm scared for her. MC would be a perfect pre-merge or at the merge vote for us. This is an Alicia Calloway season 2 type vote, where get rid of the strongest girl and do it now, and that would allow for Red to go ahead and kind of get a little bit more cohesed after that kind of rogue Sage vote thing. So that would be the vote that would keep Red more cohesed. I am now curious where Alex and Sophie are going to go, being on 2 different tribes, kind of having to play 2 different games now. Are they going to vote together, or are they going to go on their own separate alliances now? Alex, what's your thoughts on those guys?
I don't know. I mean, Sophie's pretty in line with Savannah and Rizzo right now. I have a feeling, I don't know. I don't know if her and Alex were really that close. I guess they were. I was surprised when Sophie did vote out Jeremiah. I thought that they would maybe like get along a little bit better, but it looks like Alex and Sophie are like, pretty close. So I don't know. It's going to be, so we have MC, Christina, and Sophie S. Deloitte, who are like pretty tight, right? And then you bring Steven into that too. So that's a pretty solid 4. And this is where I'm thinking that like Savannah and Rizzo, they use their idol effectively. This is kind of what I'm thinking probably happens, is they do they actually are kind of outnumbered, and they're kind of fight, because you have Sage too, who I feel like isn't going to be aligned with Savannah. Right. I just feel like they're not going to get along. And then Sage isn't really going to, connect very well with Nate, because he kind of has an issue, like kind of connecting with people. So I'm kind of foreseeing this as like that Rizzo and Savannah are going to be from the bottom, kind of competing against this kind of really strong alliance, which is like MC, Steven, Sophie. And then Jawan is, I think, going to go back. And I guess that's the one caveat is like Jawan goes back to Sage and is like, hey, we really have to align with original Uli. Steven also does have some like faked, I guess, loyalty, or like he owes Jawan, he owes Sage a favor. Right. So this is why I'm thinking like, wow, now they really are kind of outnumbered, because if Steven brings them into this alliance with Christina, MC, Sophie S, right? Now Nate, Rizzo, and Savannah are really playing from the bottom. And this is their big come up stories. Like they're totally outnumbered. It's 8 people versus 3. You know, they have this comeback. That's kind of what I'm projecting.
And see, this is why I love what Sage did, and why I think it is a better episode than it has been this whole entire season, because we wouldn't be playing this what if game if we hadn't seen some kind of crinkle in the season, which I think is the Sage thing. We would be talking about, okay, we got 5 on 3 now. It looks like Red's going to dismantle, and I think this would be a boring episode. So, you know, I think, you know what I'm saying?
You also have Sophie, who is aligned with Savannah and Rizzo, who has a knowledge is power advantage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So nobody has something except Rizzo that she can steal.
Right.
And she kind of mentioned, oh, I might want to, but I don't really need to do that. This is kind of my alliance. So that's kind of interesting. You know, it'll be interesting to see her team back up with Alex, and then potentially tell him that, and then see how they choose to play it. Right.
Yes. And it's going to be interesting to see if that knowledge is power / Riz God's idol, if that whole situation is going to be why Riz God and Savannah go to season 50. Like, I'm still waiting to see why that is the case, that they are going to season 50.
I think they have to play smart when it comes to that kind of thing. The question will be, will Sophie tell anyone that she has that advantage? Because if that gets out, then, you know, I mean, I think she's going to have to tell somebody. She already knows that Riz has the idol, but if she wants to play with them and they come up with a plan, then she might be inclined to tell them something. Because remember, she's not part really technically of any. I mean, she's got Alex. That's it. That's left. So she might use that knowledge is power as knowledge is power to get me into, you know, one of the groups that I want to be a part of. And so that really come into play. There could be, I have a feeling, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I agree, Brandon, that they're going to have a moment where that how they play their idol and how they use the knowledge will bring us to a moment where, like, it's a complete blindside, or we've got some kind of a situation which might be like a first, if there are that many firsts left on Survivor. And we know that Survivor loves first, because that was the first headline I saw for this week's episode, for this past week's episode, was Survivor. This has never happened on Survivor before, right? They're always talking about it's a first. So I think that we might get ourselves into that kind of a situation where, you know, even Jeff might even be like, we don't even have a contingency plan for this, or something like that. So something to look at.
Yeah. Well, and if she is a fan of Survivor, I think she would know that the knowledge is power advantage typically isn't used very well. And it's because you tell somebody else about it that becomes a problem. So back to season, 41, where Tiffany used it and used it incorrectly because they gave it to somebody else, and there goes that. So I think that, Sophie ended up the last 2 of 6 on her tribe because she's a smart player. So given that information, I don't think she tells anybody, but it's kind of guided me to this. Okay, like, if she didn't tell anybody and she has this and she plays it wisely, why wasn't she on season 50? So this whole season of we know who's going to season 50 is kind of playing with my mind a little bit. So I hope that the 3 of those, I hope something spectacular happens with that. I hope she doesn't tell anybody. Do you think she would tell Savannah over Alex if she does tell anybody?
She might tell Savannah. It depends on how Alex come back together. I really am. I'm interested to see how those. I I think it would be smart for those two to say, hey, if we can team up together, we can be a strong voting block to get us into the right, the winning side of things. Because everything is so divided.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure. I don't know if I honestly don't know if she's even going to tell anyone, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
She got some grilled cheese, so her brain's working now.
There it is. Who doesn't love a good grilled cheese sandwich?
What type of combination was that? It was grilled cheese, potato chips, and iced tea.
Yeah,
those are like leftovers.
Hey guys, what else we got besides fruit back there?
Right.
Yeah, because they didn't like
they're complaining. They're like, yeah, exactly. I was like, God, what type of combination? And then brownies too. It's like,
yeah, right. Yeah, somebody on set is pregnant.
It's like a picky. It's like well, I guess the tea, but it's like a picky eater, a child's picky eater's menu. I only eat grilled cheese, potato chips, and brownies. It's like those are three completely. I don't know.
I was just really, really glad that they didn't have to milk the cow and make the cheese to get the grilled cheese sandwich, because they did get chickens, which they had to then kill and pluck and carve up. And it was a lot of work.
I would love that if next season they get a cow instead of chickens. That would make my... I don't know if there's any cow.
They have to slaughter a cow and they're just covered in.
The cow gets loose.
I saw somebody mention this, online. They're like, you don't have like a single blue collar person, so there usually is like that guy. There's that good old boy on the team who's like, kill the chicken. I've been doing that every day for the last 20,
Yeah.
And it's all these like office workers, right? It's all these people who like never even, they're just, they're, not never killed anything in their life, right? Or they're not, like at all comfortable with the concept. And so that I agreed with that. It's like you do see this lack of anybody who's like more down to earth, more simple. They enjoy the simple life, right? And I think that is kind of a big thing that's missing from this season, is like, where's the... And that kind of leads to this like homogenization of the personality and of the vibes, and there's like not as much conflict. You have to bring Sage into this season,
which is why Sage is perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For there even to be like another thing happening. So
yeah. I'm glad Sage entered my screen. I couldn't take another Jawan and Steven dad joke.
Yeah,
that was tough. That was tough to watch. That was
definitely not the Taylor Swift sing off.
No, that wasn't. Those weren't even good dad jokes. Like, I was sitting there, like I was going to write one down. I was like,
nope.
There's nothing here. There's nothing here. So another player I don't think we've touched on enough yet, and that is, do you guys think that Nate had to lie in this episode? Do you guys know which part I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. I feel like, oh shoot, I hope this is...
he lies all the time. I think this whole play is a lie, because these children he does not vibe with. So I think his whole gameplay is, how can I fit in, and what do I have to lie about too?
Yeah, he is definitely robotic in his gameplay. Just like, I guess I can say this. I'm talking about when they get back to the tribe and he tells them how the two people got voted out. And so the first one, he said, I was honest about, everything worked. And then the second time around, I got to be dishonest right then and there. And he's thinking, okay, I thought that was a perfect play, guys. That was perfect. And then you see all these shots, everybody else saying, he's lying to us. This guy is a liar. I don't think he needed to lie. I'm glad they showed that piece, because more and more, like earlier on from that, I thought he did a great job keeping up conversation with MC while they're carrying the sinking logs back and forth or whatever they're carrying. But this kind of shows Nate is not going to go to the final three. I say we put the kibosh on Nate for winning this game. It's just too robotic.
Yeah.
Is that safe? Are we there?
I I think this is going to be, I think Merge is going to be Nate's undoing. I think that it's just going to be odd man out, room full of kids. He's not going to feel comfortable. It's going to start to be, when you only have 3 people looking at you and you can kind of play it off with people, but when you get 10 other people looking right at you, people are going to start picking up on some of the stuff. And if they compare any notes or they look at it and they're just like, he's the most awkward he's the one I thought would have dad jokes. He's the most awkward stay-at-home dad dude, because that's not him. And he is making that's what I thought you might have been talking about, was when, I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Right.
No, you're not.
Yeah. I think he's still concentrating way too hard on other aspects of the game and not the full game, and I don't think he's able to. So I thought that was an interesting. We got to see Sophie B's game for the first time.
Yeah, Alex, what did you think of that?
What I think of Sophie B's.
She actually got a confessional. She got airtime on the show. She's there. She's still there. We know it now.
Well, Sophie B, she's had some screen time. It's Sophie S, who is still.
Is it Sophie S?
Yeah, Sophie.
The one with the E on the end.
Who doesn't like the fruit? Which Sophie is that?
Sophie S.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I meant Sophie S.
Okay.
Sophie S.
Yeah, Sophie B is the one with the squeaky voice. And I saw she was on TikTok and she was like, I never knew that I had a weird voice. No one ever told me this. Like Mickey Mouse. But she's like, I guess I have a weird voice. It's like, yeah. But somebody said she should do voiceover. She has kind of like a cartoon. She's nice.
Thanks, Brennan.
Yeah, thank you, Brennan G. Thank you.
Yeah, Sophie, she still is just totally in the background of everything, which is just so weird. It's like no one has ever, people have gotten this, barely any screen time, but this is excessive. This is crazy how out of the game. You don't know who she's aligned with. You never see her and MC talking. It's just what is she doing? Who is, so she's just going to be a casualty of maybe she goes to the end because she's a goat, and maybe we'll see more from her later. But
or maybe she doesn't even get kicked out, but they don't invite her to Final Tribal because they forget that she exists. Maybe
well, she's still on Fiji.
That's our Survivor first.
Yes,
they forget a contestant.
We lost a contestant. She wandered off. No one noticed. You you're going on a field trip. You get all the kids on the bus. And then when you go to leave the place and there's 3 buses and everybody thought that she was on the other bus or didn't pay attention, she wasn't missed. And 2 hours later, you got SWAT out looking for her.
Gone. Kevin McAllister.
Do you think she's going to connect with Sage, since Sage doesn't really have anyone either?
I don't think so. I don't feel like their personalities really fit. Yeah. Sage is kind of going with this kind of odd duck alliance, right? Jawan's kind of an odd duck. Steven's kind of an odd duck. Who else can they kind of pull into that? And I don't know if they can. Christina, I think, maybe would kind of align, and she's very close with, Christina and Steven are kind of close. So maybe you see some sort of, fight or some sort of alliance between them, going up against kind of the more intellectual type of people. And then you got MC, right? And this is, I think, kind of, you see a lot of fanfare for MC. She's super strong. She's super likable. Is strategic. But, she's going to come into the merge and I think be a threat. Yep. So she's going to come in, and I think this is kind of how they're going to paint, and that's going to be the unraveling of that kind of original Hina alliance. Is if you can get MC out, well, where does Sophie S go? We haven't seen, she's very strategic at this point, and if she finds herself in, the bad side of the numbers, I think she's going to kind of struggle to get that back, which will make her then the target. Yeah. And probably end up being why she goes home. And then that entire alliance, you have such a strong alliance between Savannah, Nate, and Rizzo, right? That just the strength of that alliance, I think, will be able to kind of dismantle all the kind of, things that might come against them.
Well, and we forgot to put in place MC's not yet idol if she ever finds out which drinking fountain it's at, right? Because she's been moving to place with this, hey, you got to lose, and she's yet to lose anything. So I think that could have a peak level interest here if she is on the chopping block, and what if she finds that, and what if she plays that, and who goes home from that? So
she's gonna move 3 beaches. So she was on one beach where she needed to find the idol. She went to, I guess, the same beach or a different beach now, or does it automatically appear? The idol appears at the camp that you're at.
I think she gets a piece of paper, like she gets a letter from Jeff.
And so then it doesn't matter what island she's on.
I think it says check at the well.
Right.
Or whatever, check wherever it is when you lose. So I don't think they plant it until they lose, which then makes me feel like if they're going to go bury something, is production's training how to bury clues and idols in the sand without making it look like the ground is disturbed. Is that part of the production's is that training?
You have to have that.
You gotta have it.
You gotta have that. You gotta know how to use a shovel, and then how to use a little garden hoe type thing. Yeah.
Yep, I think that's got to be all part of it.
Yeah, I am happy with the season on how the quantity and quality of idols. Nothing too crazy. We're not saying, broccoli are big trees or baby trees. We're not putting things in bird cages. I think there was there could have been a level of more drama if the right people didn't find the idol with the big old chain on it. So I think they're doing a good job of idols this season for sure, and not having too much, but having just enough. Bringing back knowledge of power was kind of a cool little, I forgot about that thing. So I do want to throw that to Jeff and say, attaboy at the idols.
What are we feeling about the lack of swimming this season? They're not, usually there's that.
Snakes are in the water. You got to stay out of the water.
The snakes do you think that changed? Is that really an issue? Is that what they're thinking? That there's, we have not been in the water. There's been no, there's the ones where I personally like where you have to grab a ring or something and you have to swim underneath and you have to pull across underneath the platform, then climb back up and then put on and jump, grab the ring, swim under, or even just any of the ones that are water involved. I just feel like we're not seeing those this year.
You think about how hot it is that you'd want them to be in the water for a little bit.
It would be feeling a lot better, yeah. But maybe it is the snakes.
I'm going to challenge this. Samoa isn't that hot. Samoa's, it can get kind of hot, especially if you're kind of on a plane and the sun's beating down because it's kind of close to the equator. But it's not like a super hot place. It doesn't get into the 100s. It's usually
this is him speaking from experience.
Right. I haven't been to Samoa, but I've been to I was just in Taiwan. It's it's literally 100 degrees with 80% humidity. Samoa, it's an island. There's a breeze. There can be a breeze. I saw one of the challenges they were in. It was a cool challenge because they took the trees and carved out this massive rectangle, so there wasn't any breeze that could kind of penetrate in there. So it was kind of beating down. If it's at the, it can be hot. I'm not saying it's not hot, but it's not the hottest. It's 89 degrees. It's not super humid. So I don't know. I think that I understand they're dehydrated. They're. Are
you calling these guys a bunch of sissies? Are you doing that right now?
Yeah. It's just, Jeff too. Jeff's, he's an old guy, but yeah, it's so hot. It's so hot. It's I don't know about that. I don't know. Can we get a temperature? Can we get a thermometer out?
We talked about this.
You're saying it's really hot. It's really humid.
On the side.
What's the actual temperature?
Yeah. Give me the wind chill. Give me the
windshield. Give me humidity level.
Give it to me. Yep.
I'm not believing. I'm not buying it.
I'd like to see a reward challenge where they get ice cream cones and they have to eat right there in front of the losing tribe. So everybody, like the winning tribes, the two
Oh.
winning tribes,
Okay.
get an ice cream
I
cone.
thought that was the challenge. Like,
No,
make the
no,
ice cream. Whoever licks it first wins. Yeah.
no.
They
But they
can
get
eat
it
the
like
most ice
right there.
cream,
They
yeah.
just like all of a sudden Dairy Queen just rolls up and they're like, here.
Right. Here's a dilly bar.
Well, they had that one. That was actually a good Survivor challenge when they had the meat on the bone.
Yes.
You had to pull
Yes.
the meat off with their
Bring that
teeth, and then
Yeah.
that was like the grossest challenge. They should do that. It's put the Dairy Queen in your mouth and spit it into the bucket until the bucket raises the flag. That'd be a good one.
I'm
That'd
all
be really
for it.
disgusting.
I'm all for it. Or do fruit, and then Sophie S can complain a little bit.
Right.
Pineapple.
Pineapple. What? Never had it. Never tried it. I've never had a pineapple or a kiwi or a cantaloupe or a strawberry.
Sam Phelan, who never ate anything. Yeah.
Right. He said, that was a lie, right? So he actually had tried all these things, but he's like, I thought it would make me more likable if I told people I had. So that's another one of the things that you can't tell people. I've never had a fruit. Oh my God.
Liar. Vote him
Wow.
out.
You're like this sheltered weirdo. Like,
Right.
that's so likable.
Water. I've never had this before.
What? Yeah, he's an alien. What is this place?
So I wanted to ask you guys, from all the seasons that we've watched recently, I feel like there's always been that kind of character, but I'm not seeing it really this season. Who is the character with like Carolyn? We had, she was that awkward, dorky, said goofy
Right.
things, made goofy faces. Yeah, but I don't think Sage is really, just.
Is that not enough for you, Brie?
Yeah. Well, but she doesn't, but it's not it's to us. It's to the camera. It's not to anybody around her, really. Like there's not that really goofy person entertaining. No one has really captured that. I think they've maybe tried, but they're just not. Or do you see someone? Is there someone?
I see there's rage in the Sage cage. I think that she's when they first found out that or when she first found out that they saw what she saw, and she just sat there and looked at the log like veins were popping out of her eyes. That to me is enough. I understand what you're saying, that she's not like that as often as Carolyn is. I think she's trying to not hide it, because she's telling people that she, collects blackheads or whatever she collects. So I think that she is that person this season. Alex?
Yeah. What do you think?
No, I don't think she's very, because in her, like Brie was saying kind of at the beginning, she's very dry when she's not like around people. She does have these kind of like looks. It just kind of seems like, I don't know. She's just not as outgoing. She's not as funny and dynamic as Carolyn. Like I said, I think she tries to like act a little bit more weird than she is. I mean, she seems to have like she gets kind of weird when dealing with people. That's kind of where she starts to feel uncomfortable and starts to act kind of like more odd, is like when she's dealing with people, and it's like kind of a pacing thing. It seems like she's just kind of like, I don't know. I think, I don't think she's, I think Jeremiah was this kind of like over the top personality. He was that guy this season that was going to be, like kind of a standout. That's why I thought he would go far. I understand why he was voted off a little bit early, but I thought he was, upbeat enough and like high energy enough and goofy enough to kind of be somebody who you would see get farther in the game.
Well, on that note, Annie was another one who would have been seen as like the rock and roll hippie. Who's she going to pair with? Thought she was a leader. I guess
she's a little bit too cool for school. Like she's a little bit too cool, like to, I think like be approachable enough to people. She wasn't kind of as welcoming and as receptive as somebody like Jeremiah, where you're like, oh, this guy's so funny. Like you just feel like he likes you because he's just a happy-go-lucky type of guy.
But with these people too, I don't think we're going to see them like we did in the old school, because in the old school they would have had a completely different soundtrack for those for a Sage. They would have made it emphasized enough and been like, she's going to be. I'm a Sage fan right now, so I say this out of kindness. Bless her heart. She would have been that season 10, like, who is this person? Like the Wendy girl who was the lost, isolated rancher or whatever type. And they would have dressed her in something else because back then they were like, oh, you live on a farm, you're going to wear flannel and a cowboy hat. So I think that this new era, they don't play that up as much. They try to show more of the human side that we're all going to be able to associate with. So
they would have given her like a coach edit, a Debbie, Debbie edit, where they're like, oh, they're like brutal on old Survivor.
Yes.
You know, they're like calling people like, this person's an idiot. This person, like, they're really like attacking people personally and like getting them with these, So they would. You're totally right. They would have. She would have looked like a total, freakazoid on like previous. Like Survivor would have like tried, like really played it up. Yeah, giving her clown music.
They would have called Shannon a villain by the way that she said that she wanted to be free friends with Sage again and was all this polite person ahead of us. And I think that even in 41, 42, they gave Shan that evil music or whatever when she was working behind the scenes, or even Carolyn season 42, 43, where they were kind of getting away from that. They give us a little bit more human side to Carolyn than I think they would have pre-40. So I would say it would have been Sage, but it's hard these days to really show that without the edit that they use.
She successfully turned it though. Like, oh, I'm weird. Actually, no, Shannon is weird. She's the weird one. She successfully did it. She successfully made somebody else weirder than her and like more of a social outcast. And so, wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, she saved herself.
And she saved herself, and she got rid of Shannon. Before we wrap things up today, Brandon, rumor has it you brought a game for us.
I did. I got to figure out which one I was recommending because I was kind of on a coffee high when I wrote all those things. I think it was the one. It wasn't word association. Was it word association? No, it was imposter, wasn't it? It was imposter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this, it's a trend. You can play this in the holidays, play it tonight, your trick-or-treat parties, play it for Thanksgiving. But basically you give a room of, we only have 3. So we'll try it out with 3 and see how it works. Actually, I don't think it's going to work at all because I did give you I'll do it on the chat.
Okay.
Can
we know each other's?
Wait, hold on. Alex just saw that too. This isn't going to work this time around.
It's okay. He must have had way too much coffee.
And maybe it's happening again. Never mind. We're going to forget the game for today. If those who are just watching, I tried to be very secretive and sent a group text to everybody about who the imposter was. But basically, play it at home. If you have 4 people or more, it's best. One person, or you write the same word on a piece of paper for everybody but one. Everybody gets, like, say the word is sugar, and everybody gets sugar except one person gets imposter. So that imposter has to figure out how they can both figure out what the word is and also make sure everybody else thinks they know what it is and call somebody else out. But those other people also can't be so broad about it because they don't want the imposter to figure it out. Really fun game. We'll play it next week so I can send things more secretly and see if Brennan or maybe even Johanna. Is Johanna ever going to be like on our show? She's like our number 1.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, are you serious? That would be great. That
would be great. Yeah, we'd love that. Yeah. We love that. Tell her she's got to be on soon this season. Okay, so I have a question. Are we ever going to see another Sue with the choice between the rats and the snakes, or a Russell back on? Do you think that season 50 will bring back some of our oldies but goodies? Johanna says yes, she'll be on. And she's like, yeah. Or do you think, do you think 50 they'll shift things up again? What are your predictions, knowing what we know so far? and they're really, really playing up this 50, and we're already hearing about it in 49. It's affecting the 49 game. So I feel like 50 could be another shift. What are you guys thinking about that so far from what we know?
So I think what's going to happen in 50 is I think the smarter players like Suri, I mean, there's so many smart ones. I'm very excited about 50 for this reason. I think that a lot of people are thinking that, gosh, is it Tiffany? Those players that win those all-star seasons because they're voted out like 7th or 6th instead of 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. And I really think that those players who are better, those winners, are going to say, hey, you know what we need to do? You know who wins these games is those 6th, 7th, and 8th place people. They move on because no one's scared of them. We should probably vote those guys out here pretty soon, if not earlier. So that is the strategy I think hopefully we'll be seeing on season 50. Whether or not we have like the bitter jury you speak of, or the villain or whatever. I hope so. We all miss that, right?
Alex, do you miss it? What do you think?
Do I miss what exactly?
The Sues and the Russells and the
yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah. You need a villain. You need a real, talented manipulator. You don't have this.
Why I don't think why you guys
don't have a King George. You don't have a Russell. You don't have a Poverty. Somebody who's just, they're using their unique ability to manipulate people in a way that's like a little bit more devious. This you just have alliances and you go through with your alliance, and you're a likable Kyle. You're a likable, all the people that we've seen, Rachel, and it's just like these people aren't devious. They're strategic, have the right numbers, but you're just not seeing. I mean, they're kind of putting Rizzo in this, but he's not he's just trying to play hard, but he's really this kind of happy-go-lucky, cheerful, not super meticulous as far as, right? He's just kind of playing hard. He has a lot of enthusiasm. But yeah, you just need to see somebody who's just a real talent. So I blame, again, Survivor casting. Just they're bringing together just the same type of person. So yeah, can we get somebody who's just they have an edge? They're a little bit edgier. I think they were trying to do that with Annie, but she's like not a real player of this game. She doesn't really understand it on that level. So I don't know. You got to expand the professions, right? We're doing too many. So the profession.
If I was ever on, I would think that I would really want to gauge to see how timid I become. And especially, I don't think the fault, Jeff keeps on saying, love Jeff. Jeff keeps on saying that this 26 days thing is about that we don't enjoy it because we don't think it's hard enough, when I don't think that's the point. I think the point is that for 26 days compared to 41, you don't have those annoyances. You don't have those bitter feuds that develop because there hasn't been enough time for them to develop. So I don't think the fight is because it's short and it's not hard. We're looking for, I think, people to get to the brink of wanting to rip each other apart. But by that time they want to rip the head off the chicken regardless of how many things they've killed in their life. Like, we want to see that stress and that anger. Tells a lot about us. But I think that's missing.
Yeah, I have to agree. I want to see, I think we will see a shift in 50. I also think, which may or may not be the truth, but I'm kind of feeling like we saw Jeff really be affected by the temperature and everything during this season. I don't know if it's this next season as well, but there's just been a lot of things that have happened over the last year that I kind of felt like started with filming season. I don't know. My point is that Are we going to see a JLP on as the host of the American version? Because people were pretty upset, and you're shaking your heads no, but people were pretty upset that he was canned for David, the Golden God. And I thought, I liked JLP. I thought of all the hosts, he really did a great job. He kept the continuity of what that job holds and why we love it so, like how important that role is, while also putting a little of himself in there. And I would love, I think if Jeff steps down, he would be my choice to replace him. I know Parvati wants to replace him. She's been saying that lately in the news, but as we wrap things up, because we do have to run, who replaces Jeff?
Alex, go ahead. I'm kind of sad just thinking about it.
I don't think it's going to be JLP because in all of his interviews, it doesn't. There's no kind of indication of that. I know Poverty is up and like kind of campaigning for it. She said she was going to come out with a reality TV show, competition show, and then doesn't look like that's coming out. And she was even commenting, "Hey, I'd be a good replacement." I don't know. I don't know how I feel about, old players taking the place. I guess it's better than like a totally unknown person, right? Who has like, how is this person a real super fan? Poverty, she's been playing it for most of her adult life, was on 20, won a season, second another season, I think sixth another season, then won Australia versus World. So I think you like seeing that. You don't like it when it's like JLP getting kicked out by the Golden God, although I was totally against it. And now I'm like, I'm not a huge JLP lover anymore. I guess I'm just dealing with the grief. I've just gotten through it. So I think Poverty would be an okay option. But she's a little bit too like persnickety. She grins a little bit too much. And I think would interject herself in like kind of weird, start flirting with the guys on the panel and the girls. So I don't know who's going to replace. I guess him like almost dying of heat exhaustion during the challenge is kind of like, okay, maybe this is going to, why would they include that? So I think he's going to say, hey, it's even getting a little bit, he's going to put it like these 26 days are so hard, even for me. So maybe you'll see that on season 50, maybe there'll be some sort of ceremonial handoff to one of the people on 50. What if you see Poverty's in the game, and then Jeff's like, "We're about to mix it up again."
I'm playing.
Walks out.
Drop your buff. Drop your hat.
Yeah, drop your buff, and he ceremonially puts his Columbia button-up shirt on her. It's like super oversized. He puts the hat on her, and the immunity necklace, and it's like, "You are forever immune."
Yeah.
You are the host. Maybe that's what they're playing for on 50. Whoever wins 50 will be the new host.
They told us already so much about it.
Well, if it's the Golden God, then they're going to make Jonathan the host, right? Because it'd be like two strong guys.
Oh my gosh! What if Debbie shows up as the host of season 50? Like that would
Lord
be.
have mercy.
I would love it.
It's Coach because he's the most poetic.
Oh, gag me.
Well, Brandon, any quick comments, because we gotta wrap it up.
I have so much to say. I would say that if family, if they said, hey, like my family will want me to do this and blah 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 blah, I think no one could do it better right now than Rob Sesternino. He has such a knowledge of this game that no one else has, and a way to ask questions that no one else can, that he'd be perfect. But I think it'd be more of a family. Like, would his family want him gone that long? And he's doing great with raps. So,
yeah. All right. We got to run. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.